Welcome to this Broadcom Useful Tips session. In this short video, we will talk about how you can customize RC Migrator or RC Compare utility models to include additional functions for your strategies. So why would I want to do that? In today's world, companies are making increasing use of DevOps methods to implement change, meaning that more automation needs to be built into each of the component parts of the DevOps stream. The default behaviors in the product may not suit your requirements, so this is where RC Migrator's flexibility can be invaluable. Model utilities can contain conditional logic, for example, if, else, and also comparative operators like greater than and less than. Therefore, a single model utility can be used to generate different batch processor and utility control statements based on the conditions being checked. Some of the possible uses would be to call a rex routine or issue a DB2 command or switch the authority. In the simple example we're going to show now, we'll see how to include DB2 grants to give a select privilege to a new table we're creating. You may also want to read the Perform DB2 DevOps for DB2 Schema Management section of the product documentation. So let's look at how we can customize the utility models to achieve our goals. Starting from the DB2 Tools main menu, select option 2 from the main menu for RC Migrator. Then select option 0 to take you into the Expert Profile menu. From here we can select option 6 for Utility Model Services. Using the masks in the top area of the panel, navigate to a model that you want to template. The @default model is a good place to start. Use the T-line command to create your new model based on that default. You can now enter your choice of name for the model ID and enter an appropriate description. For our customization, we want to add a utility that will issue a grant to a specific user ID. So type an I under the CMD column. And on the newly inserted line, give a name to the new utility, something you'll recognize. In my case, I've named it Grant CR, given it an object type of T for table, and a description of Grant to DevOps. Enter E on the new utility row to edit the new model utility. You'll then be presented with an empty ISPF edit screen where you can type your new utility commands or copy from a PDS if you've already created one. So here we can see the text of the new utility. I'll explain on the next screen what those commands mean. So firstly, it's always a good policy to enter a few lines of comments to help other users understand what the new model is doing. Following the comments section, we start with an if instruction to test whether this is a new DB2 object being created. So objdisp equals create. The next instruction tells RC Migrator where to position the new utility block in the generated strategy output. SQL pause A, meaning position after the SQL. We then tell RC Migrator to connect to the target DB2 subsystem, and then the actual DCL statement we wish to execute. Don't forget to match an end if for each of the if statements. And there's a link here showing the location of the technical documentation. And as you can see here, the product supports a variety of logical operators and symbolics. So now let's see a short demo of the new utility model we've just created. Let's start with RC query. And here we can see the database we'll be operating on. It's a DB211 subsystem, and the database name is DBYTD11A. It contains one table space and one table. So let's assume that a change has come through from development for a new object to be created in that database. In our example, the DDL is in a PDS, which we will compare with the DB2 catalog to generate a strategy to create the new objects or objects. We're going to create one new table in a new table space in the same database. Note that this could be a number of objects containing new or changed objects. All we need is a valid DDL file. So from the RC Migrator main menu, select Strategy Services, which is option 1. Enter C to create a new strategy of type C for compare, and specify the subsystem ID of the subsystem where you want to create the objects. Next, as our input is DDL, select option 5 to compare the source SQL to your target subsystem. Note that the new utility model is not restricted to this type of comparison, would equally work with any of these source to target mappings. Now enter the details of the source and the target for the comparison. So here we have the dataset name containing the DDL and the name of the target subsystem, and optionally creator name of the target database. Next, let's analyze this new strategy. Enter A for analysis against the strategy you've just created. So here we can specify the analysis options we want to use. Note that you can update your saved analysis options or choose an analysis profile that you previously created using the Analysis Profile Services panel, which you can find from 0.p. So select the saved analysis profile using the fully qualified name or wildcards under the option specifications here. I've selected Y to update options to show you clearly which options are in effect for this analysis. And we'll execute this online in the demo. So to use the newly created utility model, enter the model ID and creator here. And note that both the model ID and creator can be wildcarded, so you can select the one that you want. You can also update the model here if that's required. If you do make any changes, remember to enter save. PF3 or end will initiate the analysis. Once analysis is complete, we are presented with the message file. I've shown some snippets here. Any errors in the analysis will also be reported at this time. Press PF3. If successful, you'll now see a listing of the generated strategy. In our example, you can see that the grant statements have been included for the new table as we requested in our customized utility model. These follow the unload, load, drop, create tables steps involved in this change as we requested by coding SQL pause A. So in summary, RC Migrator Utility Model Services is extremely flexible and offers users the ability to easily customize the product to their needs. It's fully documented at this link. And I'd also recommend that you join the Broadcom DB2 Tools community to get the most from your products. Thank you very much for watching this short video.